It's the heck out of me when they say it can't be done. So there's always going to be those people, as I mentioned, the negative people in the world who are jealous or envious, and they wish they had, the drive, and they wish they were doing something differently in their lives, and they try to bring everyone else down around them. And you just have to be aware of that and know that you're going to prove that person wrong. That's the best justice in the world. They say, prosperity is the best revenge you can get, and I truly believe that. Oh, come on, some Canadians maybe? A couple questions? You can raise your hand if you're intimidated by the microphone. No one else? Okay, yes, sir. What would I have done with Omarosa? I would have put her on the bench. I would have immediately sacked her. She would have been done. It was never even a question. She was out there, that woman. Well, the first day we started the competition, she pulled me aside and she said, "God, Bill, you look like you're going to be a real strong player. I'd like to form an alliance with you." I thought, you got the wrong show, man. This is not Survivor. Alliances don't work here. So I knew she was a little bit off from that point on. Yes, sir.
I just have a question about changing perceptions. We've just heard your story and kind of what brought you up to be able to win The Apprentice. Mm-hmm. Since then, with business, how have you been able to change or help people understand what you bring as a partner, business expertise when there's not a lens on you?
Well, that's a great question. And when I first got hired on, that was a real problem because I was with these people who've been in the business for a long time. And a lot of people doubted me. And they said, "Who's this kid? He won some TV show. He's going to work on a 92-story high-rise." Like, it was laughable. And I could have gone in one of two ways. I could have gone and said, "Hey, Donald was the only guy I reported to. We talked every day." I could have thrown that around and said, "I'm going to call, get Donald on the phone. We'll handle this." And I didn't. I went in and I said, "I'm going to earn your trust. I'm going to earn your respect." And these were hard guys to earn. The construction game is not an easy game. But it took me time. And I'm so glad I did that because I've become friends with a lot of these guys. We do business dealings together now. And I took my time and I proved them wrong. And I think that's the best way to change someone's perception is, show me, don't tell me. Words are very cheap. And I don't put a lot of credence in someone's words until I've seen it. And then their words mean something. But it has to be earned. It has to be something that you've cultivated, and you can't expect it. Does that make sense? Anyone else? Yes, sir?
Were you on budget?
Were we on budget? For the most part. Some changes that I did not implement. But the big man wanted, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful building, though. If you ever get to Chicago, you should take a look. It's really one of the great additions to the Chicago skyline. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, in today's political climate and also business climate, what are some of the concerns you have with as we go through this political season up to the election, and what you feel may happen from a business perspective?
Well, boy, I could go on for hours about that. I have some real concern. I think our system is broken, especially the way we work in politics. These guys raise hundreds of millions of dollars to get into office. And everyone in this room knows that, nothing is free in this world. So you're getting all these contributors and super PACs, and now Obama's taking on super PAC money. You're talking about a lot of favors that need to be repaid. It's a broken system, and we need to be focusing on getting people back to work. They say the unemployment's 8.5% now. That's not accurate. People are underemployed. It's not being reported, and it's how convenient that the numbers just fell last week when we're 6 months out from an election. But I think we need to get America working. We need to get back to what we've done best, and that's being a manufacturing nation, which we're starting to do. And we have to limit the money these guys get and the power that they have. I mean, they finally just passed the bill through the Congress. Now they're going to pass it in the Senate, that if you are a member of the House or Senate or your staff, that you can no longer trade stock on insider information. Now, this was legal for many, many years. So if I'm Nancy Pelosi and I know that we're going to put a ban on Lipitor tomorrow, I can go in and short that stock, right? And it's legal. Well, no wonder why these politicians are spending $20, $30 million to get elected to win a job that pays $85,000 a year. I mean, it's absurd. So I think we need to get the right people in office, the people who understand business, who understand incentivizing businesses to grow. I think repatriating a lot of that money to the U.S. is critical because we're going to get people expanding their plants, buying new equipment. The fact that some of these guys want to be able to put in a plan where you can deduct or depreciate 100% of capital equipment in the next year, I think these are the things that we need to do. Get people working, get them off of welfare. That's the problem. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, I think you had your hand up. Sorry, we just cut that fell
I
off.
actually have two questions for you. First of all, you've written a couple of books, and you have all of these speaking engagements. Can you share with us what you're going to be planning for your future? That's the first question. The second question is, if Mitt Romney is not chosen as the Republican candidate, Donald Trump has said that he is going to consider running. Would you vote for him?
I would. I'll answer the second part. I would vote for him. Obviously, I have a tremendous amount of loyalty because, he took me under his wing, and I'm very grateful for that. But aside from the loyalty, you may not like how he says things, but what he says is the truth. And oftentimes, people don't like the truth. And he's right. I mean, we spent all this money in Iraq, right? I follow him on Twitter. Okay, is anyone on Twitter? And we talk, but he sends this tweet out, we leave Iraq and we don't take any oil with us. Like, it's common sense, man. We're going to let them profit from us liberating them, and we don't even pay ourselves back for all the billions of dollars we spent in Iraq. So he says things that you may not like how they're said, but when you actually break down the content, it's very logical. And I love his logical approach to getting our country back to where it should be. To answer the first part of your question, my goals have changed, obviously, over the years, and some of the opportunities that have presented themselves to me. And I'm now in a phase where I'm trying to, do more to make a difference. And I wrote a book for kids called Beyond the Lemonade Stand. It's to really teach kids the value of money and business and to get that spirit in there. And I donated all the money to at-risk kids. And I'm doing a lot of work in Haiti right now. And I'm going back to Haiti on the 18th, and we're going to go into this village called Jacmel. And I recruited a lot of the people that I've done business with, and they're coming, and we're going to build a home for one family. But the kicker is that everyone in the community has to help and learn how to build this home, and then I will fund the other homes that they build on their own. So we're going to teach them how to fish, and we're going to do it one block at a time. So, thank you. Thank you. And for me, it's, I went over to Haiti by accident right after the earthquake. I created a show called Airplane Repo for Discovery Channel. It was about a guy who repos private jets. I'll explain why. It's crazy, I know. But he called me up, he said, I've got one of my jets going down to Haiti, and I was supposed to bring a plane full of doctors down, but they're scared and they don't want to go. And at that time, it was very difficult to land because there was only a makeshift runway and there were no lights, and you had to have what's called a landing slot. And he said, I've got this landing slot, what can we do with it? So I called up a friend of mine who was the chairman of Sara Lee, and I got them to donate all this food, and I got some pharmaceuticals, and I flew down on this plane. And I got down there, and I saw all the food was just rotting on the runway. These people, they couldn't get it out to the community. So we went in and we got some trucks, and we took them to these villages where these people live. And as I'm leaving, this woman, she was a nurse, and she came up to me. She says, there's 3 kids. If I don't get them out of here, they're going to die. Can I put them on your plane? Of course. I said, absolutely. We took one to Gainesville. We took one to Yale Medical Center. We took one to Chicago. And it was a life-changing experience. I thought I was going to go down there and have an impact on a few people, and little did I know that my life was going to be the one that changed. And, as Americans and Canadians, we have a pretty good life. I mean, no, we do. I didn't want to forget about you guys. But, we often take things for granted. And I think one of the best gifts we can have is gratitude. And the fact that we're all here in this beautiful resort in sunny Florida. I mean, these are the simple things, but man, it's changed the way I look at life significantly. Anyone else? Yep. Okay, well, this is sir, and then we'll come to you. Go ahead. Go ahead. How does the Trump organization handle green issues? Well, it's definitely something that is becoming more and more important. It's on the radar, the way they're building things, these buildings. It's an issue. But I think everyone knows that, it's the little steps. And yeah, I was reading, that's incredible that you guys are the second in second place for green companies in the world. That's a hell of an achievement. And I think leading by example is the best way to go. But it's definitely something that's being done. They just built a building in Soho, and it was definitely probably not the greenest in the world, but it was up there. So it's something that more and more people are taking seriously, and they're taking responsibility. We have to be good corporate citizens, I truly believe, and I'm impressed with what they've been doing to make differences in how they do things. So, great question. Yes, sir. I like this guy. We got to give him a prize. Way to ask for the sale. Brilliant. I will. I'm not going to give it out. All right, you want me to give it out now so you've got 300 people banging down that door? Come on, man. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, sir?
What are the two things in your life that impacted you the most and inspired you to make you who you are today?
Two things in my life that have impacted me the most to help me be who I am today. Well, I think first and foremost, my parents. And the way my parents raised me was obviously not how it is today. Both my parents were married forever. It was a loving home. But when I was growing up, it was okay to make mistakes. It was okay to have setbacks. I hate to use the word failures. But it was never okay not to try something. And I think that was one of the best gifts they could have given me, because today I see how we're raising these kids, and my sister-in-law is an example. They're always there to pick up the kid. Like the kid's never able to fall down and skin the knee or make a mistake. And that's something that they have until they get in the real world. And when these kids get in the real world, they can't cope. They can't take a rejection. They can't take a failure that comes along the way. And we're doing them a tremendous disservice. And it's not healthy for these kids. That's why these pharmaceutical companies are booming, because these kids get out of college and they can't handle the failure, and they're depressed and they have anxiety. And that's, you got to raise them the right way and let them make the mistakes. Let them fall down and skin the knee. So I think that was something that was very important. And then watching my dad was an educator. He started out as a teacher, then a principal, then a superintendent. And he was a very smart man. He had a PhD. And he could have done anything he wanted, but he chose to do something that he loved, and he loved helping kids and making a difference. And I think, they say do what you love and success will follow, and that was what my dad did. He led by example, and I saw that he didn't just go after the quick buck or running a company. He wanted to make these school districts better, and that's something that I've always done. I've always been able to do things that have been in my heart, and that's why I've had success in some of the things that I've done, because I wake up early in the morning and I stay late at night because I'm passionate about it. And I think that was a very important trait that they passed on to me. Yes, sir? How was the Miss Universe party? Oh. I highly recommend you attend if you have the opportunity. So, well, on that note, we have one more. Yes, go ahead. Thank you. Have I ever thought about getting into politics? I did for a minute. My wife would love it. She, wants to have that red dress on the stage and, be a senator's wife. But I would never do it. I mean, it's just, unfortunately, it's such a dirty business. We see what's happening now with the Republicans, and, they'll go back to, when I was in third grade, and, whatever, it's nasty. It's just, You, what's that?